please check your mails at least a couple of times. We send these mails at least twice because everything is inside G Labs, but you need to be enabled and you need to be invited to it. So please check your inboxes at the end of Monday. It will be sent much sooner than that, but please check it by Monday for a fact. Awesome. So let's get started really quickly. I think we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 day 1, 2, 3, 4. So Sagar, I believe I saw Sagar somewhere. So Sagar is also here. I think he's done great amount of orienting you with respect to what data science is all about.
Hey Mayuresh.
Hi Sagar. Awesome. Good to hear from you always. So what data science is, what how we put together a model, how we will be taking it to the various stakeholders. So I think we saw all of that. Today is all about the career, breaking into a career, and we're going to hear from Sagar a lot of those things. So what you need to do is that you need to be using something called as Slido. So just go to slido.com, slido.com, and you will be asked for one code number. So that code number is this M787. M787. Just put in that particular code number, and then you can type out your question and just whatever question you wish to ask us, please put that question over there, and we'll be very happy to take those questions and we'll be answering those questions over here. Put your question once. Put your question once and relax. If you see a question that someone else has asked, which is really a good question, then upvote that question. That this is a good question. I had the same question. I want to upvote that question. So please do that particular thing. Ideally, you should be asking these questions from a mobile and you should be attending on a laptop. If it's from the same device, no worries. Post your full name because that will help us address you that much more accurately, and we will be answering all the questions that are over there. Awesome. So what does a good question look like? A good question is, it has context. It has complete context. Where are you from? What is it that you're doing? What are the special set of circumstances that are only applicable to you? That you have a gap in your resume, you were not academically very bright, or if you're someone who has had a maternity break, or you've been in a completely non-tech kind of a role, or whatever it is. But I think something very specific to you. So if you believe that that is the kind of question for which you are seeking an answer, this is the right forum. If you believe that the answer for this can easily be Googled, can I get a job on structured data based on data science or anything of that sort, which you think is very generic or Google will be able to do a good justice to it, probably this is not the right forum. But just make sure that you're asking the question clearly, completely, that kind of a thing. So I think we have the first question over here. So your question would be visible on the screen and we will be taking those questions and answering those questions. Now, we have one question right now. The count of questions will keep on increasing as the session goes on. Because keep on asking your questions as the session is going on, because your question can come to you at any point in time. And we will make sure that the count of questions that you have will be brought down to 0 by the end of this particular session. Awesome. So Slido is where you need to ask questions. Please don't type your questions in the chat. Please keep your questions in Slido. Awesome. So we will be coming back to this slide again and again. This slide repeats itself after a certain interval, and we will be coming back to this question again and again. So I already see a couple of upvotes that we have over here. So a couple of people have upvoted this particular question. So upvote the question, ask a question, feel free. But just make sure that you're making the most of it. So let me just quickly introduce Kritika to you. So Kritika is someone who has seen people get placed for multiple cycles or multiple years. She and her team has basically been in the thick of things with respect to talking to industry partners, to making sure that people go through the whole process of getting the job, so on and so forth. So somewhere in our mind is that model where how do people get jobs? What is that really, the secret sauce, so to speak? And why do certain people succeed and why do certain people not make it? I think she has all the answers. And I will also encourage her to speak about her experience, previous experience and her academic experience. So I think that will really help us, set the context of why we should be listening to Kritika, apart from the pure weight of experience that she brings to the table today. So Kritika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mayuresh. A very big hi to everyone. I hope you all had a great week. Before I talk, of course, I think I was very lucky. I've seen a lot of transitions at GreyAtom, learners who come with different kinds of experience. I know a lot of the questions over here are very similar to kind of experiences our learners have had, and they have transitioned successfully to very fulfilling careers in data science. So I hope I should be able to respond to all your questions. I come from psychology background, and that helps me understand people better. So I'm actually looking forward to this whole conversation that we're going to have. One thing, whatever I talk about today, is purely out of based out of my experience with the learners, out of the success stories that we've had, out of what worked for them. Nothing is out of the cloud. Everything is completely factual. We use a lot of statistics also. We share the numbers with you. So everything is extremely factual. All right. Mayuresh, feel free to let me know when you would like to take some questions, because I'm sure that gets overflowing sometimes. Okay, so what do you expect in our conversation today? First is, what happens when your technical skill is in place? Like, you've learned the technical skill, what next? And then comes the hiring process. How is the hiring process in the different organizations? What is it that the employers want? We know that we want to join a company and work in this way, but what is it that the employer wants? What makes people succeed, and how can you make sure that your chances of succeeding is higher than what it would have been in a different case? So these are the things we'll talk about today. Um, can we go to the next? Okay, awesome. Oh, let's take a quick poll. This is something we can take on chat. Let's take this on chat. How many job applications do you think an aspiring data scientist has to, how many places do they need to apply to get a job? How many job applications? 250 plus.
I think we're getting all realistic answers today. I think last time someone had answered one.
Yeah, we're getting 50, 20. Okay. So quickly, guys, it's actually 250 plus. It's a good number. I know some of our really, really learned, very skilled learners who had to apply to a lot of places to find the right match. Okay. All right. So here's some of the these are the 9 steps that our learners at GreyAtom had undergone after they had completed, upskilling themselves technically. I'll take you through every single step. Let's go to step 1. Okay, so we have these sessions on Sundays, which is usually conducted by myself or my team. We also have a lot of industry mentors who come in these sessions. These sessions are everything about careers. I like to call them Career Sundays, because we take everything from resume to LinkedIn to all the different collateral that you build, to solving business problems, data science jobs, what is expected once you join the company. Everything that comes under the sun of careers comes in Career Sundays. Then the next thing is, of course, my team personally works with our learners in building the resume, LinkedIn, and GitHub. Which we just don't lecture them that this is how it's done, because that's something you can take from YouTube. But here there's a lot of personal branding that goes into your collateral, and our learners get very one-on-one guidance on building them. Pure mock interviews is something that I think Mayuresh and Sagar will completely agree that pure mock interviews really helps our learners. They interview each other, they grill each other on technical, non-technical skills, and with the shared knowledge, it helps them prepare for the best jobs. Okay, we have a lot of in-house career services sessions, and I think a different point is also in-house one-on-one coaching. So we have both for our learners. In-house career services sessions, it's very important, because these are all people, including myself, who come with the expertise on exactly what works in the industry. So every session that is taken by career services internally, it is all the material curated that's specific for data sciences and what works in this industry. Business problem solving. Later in the session today, I will be talking about how data science is not just about statistics. It's purely, majorly about solving business problems, and it's very difficult for newbies to really understand how the data works, how the problem works. So we have very specific sessions by industry experts on how to solve business problems using data science. Yes, hiring challenges. So one of the key elements of any hiring process in any of the organizations that are hiring for data scientists, even interns, is hiring challenges. So there are a lot of hiring challenges that GreyAtom internally conducts with our learners, and that really helps them prepare for the real challenges that come their way. Like everything from getting the problem statement to working with the data to deploying a project, everything. One-on-one coaching, of course, we have a whole career services team. There's a lot of one-on-one coaching because every person is so different. Their experience, their background is different, and their dreams, even though it's data science, it's a big umbrella. So everybody comes with a different strength, skill set. So there's a very tailor-made coaching that happens with every learner. Yeah. I think that's how I know so many learners personally and their stories so well. There's accelerated and structured networking. There is so much importance that we give to networking because in today's world of technology and social media, working from home, globalization, all the big words, networking is really key for anyone to make a mark in the industry. Of course, you need to have the skills, but to network with the right people, collaborate with the right people, and stay on top of what's happening, on top of what's new, innovation, networking is extremely important. In fact, GreyAtom has something called G Tribe. Mayuresh, are we like inviting everyone, giving them access to G Tribe or something today? Okay, I think I'll let Mayuresh talk about it after some time. We have hiring partners. I'm sure you guys know GreyAtom has had so many transitions, and our learners are working in crazy places, excellent places, and they're doing some really good work. And they are hiring partners who keep coming back to us when they have more requirements, and we keep getting new partners. So our learners get special entry, they get access to interviews, and if they perform well, they get hired in some of the best brands. So yeah, we have really good hiring partners. G Tribe, do you want to take? My G Tribe is you. I want you to talk about it.
Yeah, so I think the G Tribe is the GreyAtom tribe. I think it's a very selective, very warm, welcoming data science community, and I think all of you would be invited at the end of the session to join that particular community. So please be part of it. It is not something that is available on Facebook group or a meetup or anything where I think we're just putting some forwards or anything of that sort. I think it is very nicely curated. It is run by the whole academics team at GreyAtom. I think it is one of the most awesome initiatives, and you should be part of it. Click on it and just it's basically not a just an application form or anything of that sort. It's like basically just wants to do a very quick check with respect to are you interested, and then kind of bring you in. Awesome. Let's get into the questions. So we have 17 questions, and let's start answering those questions. All right. So I think we have quite a few questions. Let's start with first one on the top over here. That is from Sandeep. Paths for a fresh graduate with basic data science certification to get a job. So let's get started. So Sandeep, I think most likely a fresh graduate and journey to getting a job is going to be via internship. So you will first need to get and have some sort of a stint in internship, and to kind of fetch that internship, you need to make sure that you have the right kind of portfolio. You've done some sort of a projects which are worth showcasing, worth talking about, and you're able to defend them in the interview process. And I think there is a whole process that you need to kind of go through with respect to putting that whole thing out. So is it about applying on portals? Is it about sending your resumes to people? So I think there are more interesting ways of striking conversations with people. That is about sending them a blog that this is what I'm writing. What do you think? Asking for a review. So some very interesting paths are available, and which are beyond your job portals. So we just need to be very cognizant of those kind of things, and that is essentially what we see. We will kind of help you over here with respect to this was a person who was a fresher, and he got a job, and how he went through getting that kind of a job. So that is the kind of perspective and that is the kind of insight that we have. And all those things that we say with respect to the blogs that are written by our learners and everything, those are all out there. um, I just encourage people to think in a very simple way. Um you come across someone who comes and tells you that I have this blog and these are the 10 blogs that I have written over the last 1 year. You suddenly have, okay, this person is interesting, yeah, ये blog लिखता है. I think just reverse the situation. I think you have something to showcase which is your own, and that those are your thoughts and your way of putting across things. So, of course, you need to have the basic competencies in place, but your journey is going to be most likely internship and then a final stint somewhere where you're kind of kickstarting your career. How do you exactly go through that, and what are the steps? I think you will see that as part of the whole, conversation right now. But that's how you typically start. Awesome. Let's look at the question. I'm 14 years of experience. I'm 15 years of experience. One is the IT administrator, and one is a non-technical background with limited experience in Python and programming. And do I have a future in data science? So Shabil has this kind of a question, and what kind of a certifications that you need for data science? So I'm going to take both these questions together. Quick answers for both of them. This is not a certifications race. You can't take a certification to an interview process and say, I have this certification, please give me a job. You don't get jobs that way. You will get a job from a recruiter, from a company, if you are able to convince them that you will be able to solve their problem. That's it. That is the reality of it. Now, I think a lot of people are, transitioning into a data science career, and they are from tech background and they are from non-tech background, both. So people who have 10 years of experience, 12 years of experience, they did not feel that, okay, I am out of place or anything of that sort. I think we routinely see people who are able to make that kind of a transition. People with up to 8 years of experience, 10 years of experience, 12 years of experience are very routinely able to have this kind of a transition. One question that all of you have is that, if I make this kind of a transition, will I have to take a pay cut? Will I have to start like a fresher? What kind of a designation you will get? Let me quickly answer them. A recruiter will understand what is your current compensation and will actually offer you a better compensation if you are able to come across strongly in the interview process. Everything that matters, only thing that matters is the interview process. How is your project? How are you able to defend it? How is your portfolio? And everything that happens in the interview process. That's all. What kind of a designation you get? I think you should not get hung up on the designation at all. Designations can be as plenty as there are in the market, so don't worry about them. But this segment is something that is in market. They are the ones who are seeking transition at this point in time, and they're getting transition. It is also likely that you can get a transition within your current organization, and that is also not very unlikely. So you represent the majority. आप majority में हो. So Shabil, I think you are. It's not uncommon. You are the mainstream janta over here, and that's something that I just wanted to bring out over here. So if the question is, I have 10 years of experience, 12 years of experience, 15 years of experience, tech, non-tech, sports, psychiatry, anything, no coding background, can I make the transition? Yes. If you don't have any coding background, don't worry about it. It is just 30 days away. You will be able to make that kind of a transition. So, like, be rest assured. We have seen people make this kind of a transition. We just can, pinpoint names and peoples and finger who have done this kind of a thing. Great. Simranjit Singh. Sagar, I think, do you want to take this kind of a question? I think it's a great question. Do you need to know everything like Python, R, Java, other modeling softwares, how to increase chances of getting hired for a job? Sagar, if you're there.
Yes, Mayuresh. See, first thing is you're never going to learn everything in the beginning. It's always an incremental process, and let your learning be an incremental process. You cannot burden yourself with your future self. This is something I learned from Mayuresh, and it helped me as well. Even I was curious in the beginning. मुझे mathematics ढंग से नहीं आता, statistics ढंग से नहीं आता. It will come with time. In the beginning, you should be extremely good at applying whatever you know. That's it.
Awesome. So I think this is a very, I would not say a common mistake, but a very strong and a very popular preconception and a wrong notion that I need to know everything to be able to go to the market, defend myself. I think you need to know one thing very well and be able to defend it really, really strongly. So I hope that answers your questions, Simranjit. Couple of questions: 4 years of experience, 3 years of experience, and Kulbir Singh, full stack developer. Should I consider myself as a fresher? No. So I think Kulbir Singh, I would recommend that you search for a name called as Sandeep Baradia. Sandeep Baradia. And Sandeep Baradia was a GreyAtom student, full stack developer, more focused towards front end. He transitioned into a data science career. He actually went on to co-found a company also. But you will not be considered fresher. I think your experience is very, very valuable. So if you're using some sort of a Node or a JavaScript based stack, I think it is awesomely relevant background, because you don't need no programming. All you need to pick up is applying them in to various data sets. You're very comfortable programmatically. I think you have a good head start, to be very honest, and you will be not considered a fresher. I think uh, it's the most ripe time, to be very honest. If you're in the 3 to 8 years bracket, I would say a very large bracket, but to make that kind of a transition, you will not be considered fresher. You will not need to restart or reboot your career. Mechanical engineer, civil engineer, production engineer, chemical engineer, you are an engineer at the end of the day, and you will have the right kind of I think people are just embracing you and they're welcoming you to this particular career. Um it's a very embracing field. Kritika, do you remember any non-engineer who actually kind of made it into this? I remember a lot of mechanical engineers, Saurabh Nikwade, Biraj Parikh. A lot of mechanical engineers have made it as a data science who are our students. But Kritika, do you remember a non-engineer?
Yeah, non-engineer. Yeah, I know people from education background. I know people from CA background. Somebody from psychology also. So there are a lot of learners. I will be talking about a few of them today.
Got it.
Yeah, a lot of learners.
So, same thing, Sarthi, Divya, same basic response to you. If you're Divya, if you're doing testing, if it is automated or manual, I think you're very much there. How difficult will it be transition to, from testing to data science? Not very difficult, to be very honest. I think it's a process. It is a process. You need to go through it. It is not difficult at all. You just need to put in the right amount of time, effort, dedication to get the learning part done, and then I think you need to put the equal amount of effort for some amount of time to get the transition piece done, to actually get the new job. That itself is a phase in itself, where I think a lot of people actually fail. But that's a very critical phase, and you need to be able to do that also. So if the question is 5 years of experience, if you're doing testing, you're doing Selenium, you have some sort of a background in Java, you're there, man. So Android, iOS testing, Informatica, ETL, any drag and drop tool, SQL, NoSQL, full stack. I think these are all very relevant background. That is where it's a very thick use case. You represent somewhere the thick slice of the people who are actually coming in. So Suhas Komanduri, no knowledge or exposure to coding. How will I transition? Will I be considered a fresher? No, you will not be considered a fresher. How will you transition? You will be able to develop a very strong set of skills in Python over the next 30 days. And with those skills, you will be able to build the rest of the knowledge and the applied sense that you need to have in data science over the next few months to be able to make that kind of a transition. I think the initial steps look intimidating, but if you take those baby steps accurately, you will be able to make this kind of a transition. If I am not mistaken, Sagar, I think, had close to 8 years of experience before he stepped into data science, if I'm not mistaken. Sagar, is that?
Yes, Mayuresh, that's right.
Yeah.
And no programming, obviously.
Yeah. So there you have it, Suhas. Awesome. 12 years of experience, MIS reporting. So if you're using Tableau or anything of that sort, awesome, great. Tableau itself can fetch jobs, to be very honest, in the market. It's not exactly a diminishing breed, but I think you just need to have a slightly more cutting edge set of skills to be more future proof and be relevant. Reshma Tadas, if you can search, the name is not over there, but if you can search for Reshma Tadas, Reshma Tadas, she's one of the students. I think she graduated somewhere last year. She had a background in some BI tool, if I'm not mistaken, and from BI to data science, she made the transition. Absolutely. So I'm just trying to take names wherever possible so that you get that thing. Data analytics, Excel, Tableau. Yeah. Again, great. Actually, I mean, to be very honest, people who know Excel and really know Excel very well, like macro and VBA, that itself is a very in-demand kind of a field. But again, just to making sure that you have a very future-proof set of skills, you really need to get deeper into Python. And I'm a big proponent of Python over here. So what are the sources to get complete knowledge? GreyAtom is one source to get the relevant knowledge that you can to do that. And we'll be sharing that with you throughout this session. And by the end of the session, you'll have all of it. So please stay tuned for it. A couple of more questions, then we will break, and then we'll come back to the questions once again. But I think a lot of those questions are again in a repetitive way, so I'll just move over here. I'll just take a few more questions. Sumanlal Singha Chaudhary, masters in mathematics, but I don't have any coding experience. I'm 28. Is it possible for me to transition into data science field? Sumanlal, if you can just go and check Jasraj Date. Jasraj Date is the name of the person, and I think he's available on greyatom.com/success stories. And if you can watch his video, he's also a MSc mathematics, and he was trying to pursue his PhD. He dropped out and he joined GreyAtom. He's made this transition. I think that is the closest. I'm just trying to say that there's someone like you, who had the same set of doubts, and he made it. So a lot of people, who kind of do that. I have seen data science master's program in GreyAtom with pay later options, but now it's not available on the website. So is it live? Should freshers go for that program? I will help you with this particular program at the end of the session after 9:30. I will give you the details for this particular thing. How many learners together in a single batch of learning sessions at GreyAtom? So it is anywhere between 100 to 150. In the online format, we typically find more the number of people, the better it is, but we typically keep it under 250, but not actually, it's practically between 100 to 150. The reason being, your experience is personal, one-to-one, but more the number of people, a variety of questions gets asked, and you learn not just from your questions that you ask, but the questions that your peer asks. It's a very interesting process over here. Awesome. One more question, and then let me just take that number down, below 10, and then I'll just quickly come back over here. 2 years of experience of service engineer, 1+ technical sales. The most data science I know is Excel. Does it help in my resume? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Aishwarya Marathe. So absolutely it does help. See, I think any experience is valuable. This is again a very rookie kind of I would say a mistake, that my experience is not relevant. Because what happens is when you're switching roles in the same, stream, a prospective recruiter typically brings out this point that this is not a relevant experience, hence we won't consider it, hence we won't give you the necessary raise, so on and so forth. In data science, that's not the case. In data science, the burden of deciding what your compensation is really is on the process that you go through, and that is the interview process. So absolutely don't discount your experience because you are a service engineer for a particular domain. You're a service engineer for telecom, you're a service engineer for retail, for CPCG, for something. And that experience is also very, very valuable. Your organizational experience is very valuable. You've seen at least 3 appraisal cycles. So that indicates something on the resume, and that is valuable. So don't ever think that that is not relevant or anything of that sort. Career gap close to 1 year because of COVID layoffs and everything. So guys, I think at GreyAtom we are hiring people who have had gaps. This is the list of the concern. If you think from a employer perspective, recruiter perspective, all they are trying to find out is that, can you solve my problem? So Chetan, if you can solve someone's problem, and if you can communicate that very, very strongly through the interview process, I think people will welcome you, and that is the answer. If you can solve someone's problem and they can demonstrate that, through your projects, through the interview process, through the hiring challenge, you are in. That's it. That's the simple answer. Awesome. So it is 8:32. Kritika, I think let's get back. We have 11 questions and counting, and let's go back and we'll get back to the questions after some time.
Awesome. Thank you, Mahesh. All right. So let me take you guys through the typical hiring process of how different organizations work. Whether it's an MNC or a startup, the process is very similar. We've divided that into 3 sections, so you'll understand what happens in each. Every company has at least a couple of the different rounds that I'm going to mention about. Sometimes they might not have 1 or 2 of them, but basic protocol usually includes all of them. All right, so let me take you through. So the first step is usually the screening. So it says 20 seconds over here, but sometimes it's lesser than that, depending on who is screening the resume. It could be through LinkedIn, Naukri, a referral, their job portal, anything. After they have looked at a resume and they want to spend some more time on it, they go through the GitHub and the LinkedIn, which is exactly why we always say we tell our learners to make sure that the GitHub and LinkedIn is given equal importance and it's completely updated. They're networking in the right way. They are sharing the right things. Their information is out there. So that's the first set of screening. Once that happens, aptitude. So some of the company names are mentioned here, but believe me, aptitude tests like entrance exams has become common everywhere. Every organization wants to check aptitude, and our learners practice it online. There is always a take-away home test. Remember the hiring challenge that I mentioned? So this is pretty much the same thing. It's usually time-bound, and the time differs depending on how intense the project is, or what kind of solution do they expect you to come back with. It could be a week or 24 hours. Sometimes they just call you to the office and they give you an assignment, a project to work on. Sometimes it's real time and it's interactive. So these are hiring challenges. No one can cheat. You have to do it yourself. So this is where your skills really show, which is why experience really comes in terms of business knowledge. Then comes the technical round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know of certain companies where our learners had to sit for 6 or 7 rounds. At GreyAtom, I had a lot of rounds. So technical round is something that there's no cap on it. They will want to keep checking your technical skills. They'll want to keep checking your what else can you do beyond whatever you have offered on your resume? What else can you do? Which all functions you can fit in? So that's why a lot of technical rounds. Present solution round is usually talking about the solution that you have presented in the take-home test. Of course, there's the senior management or the CXO team or the senior management team where they check whether it's a good match for you or not. I mean, our learners also have often rejected offers because they didn't feel that it was the right match. And that's absolutely okay. So this culture fit is checked in senior management round, and the HR discussion where all the negotiation, salary negotiation, notice period negotiation, all of those happens. Typically, this is the process, and this is why it's important to have your tech skills in place, and your concept should be clear. What is it that the employers want? It's like $1 million question. What is it that the employers want? They just want someone who can do the job. They just need someone who can solve the business problem. And it's not dependent purely on your tech skills. This also requires a lot of basic business knowledge, being able to think in a very curious way where you can come up with different solutions to a problem and think from different point of view. The market needs practitioners. The industry is honestly not really innovating right now. So they're pretty much applying the algorithms that are already there, the technology that's already there. If you can use those to solve problems fast, then that's what the industry needs. So this on the next slide usually talks about you need to have breadth and you need to have depth. Okay, so when we say breadth and depth, we are basically talking about knowing everything. Like you need to know a little bit of every part of a data science project. Everything from identifying the business problem, converting that to a DS problem. Where is my data coming from? What kind of model do I want to build? How do I want to deploy it? To the point where what kind of insights can I get from the project? You need to know, a learner is expected to know at least every part of it. and have in-depth knowledge in at least one area. Like they say, right? If you don't know even one area really well, then what is it that you're vouching on? There has to be one skill that you can keep on the table, like, okay, I really know this well, and that's where my expertise lies. Usually, our learners try to match their past experience and their aptitude as well as attitude and build one superpower. It could be their domain knowledge, a particular skill, statistics, anything. Every organization, even like for data science specifically, look for people who have a learnability, people who are curious, who are flexible, who are agile, who are ready to learn. Because think about it, data science is something really not very new, but it's growing every single day. So a data scientist is expected to be able to pick up new skills very frequently and apply that in the workspace. So there has to be a capacity to learn. Like every candidate has to have that capacity. So let's look at the list. Problem solvers, yes. Applied data scientists, because as I said, they're not really innovating. Good communication and good programming are non-negotiables. I don't think we have to go into detail there. Ability to learn new things fast is extremely important. Very, very important. So you need to be able to be on your toes and pick up new things as and when the technology grows, evolves.
I think let's take one more section and then we can just come back to the questions.
Okay. Why people succeed? Okay. Why do people succeed? Yes, it's time for a poll. So, can you guys guess what percentage of our learners who put in more than 6 hours a week have had 95% and above completion ratio? People who transition. Okay. All of these numbers that we are giving is based on stats. We run this with our learners on our platform. Okay, some of us were really close. 86% of our learners, and which is why we say 6 hours a week is actually not very difficult. If you really are interested in transitioning into data science, 6 hours a week is pretty decent. Okay, so another question. This number of learners who completed the mandated pre-work before each session were able to transition successfully. So we have a lot of pre-work before sessions, which helps them prepare better for the session. So what number of our learners? 10, 0, 74. We're going very specific here. 0, okay. I think only Mohammed Ali got it right. 75% of our learners, yes. Pre-work really helps prepare for the session, and learners end up learning better when they do some pre-work and come. Okay, on an average, okay, this is how many minutes do our learners spend on GLabs? I'm sure all of you know about GLabs and I've been using GLabs. So how much time do they spend on GLabs? And these are the guys who perform really well. 60 minutes per day. It's not even 60, it's 40 minutes per day. But when we say 60 minutes, I think it's going to be 40 minutes plus working on your own project. So you can say 60 minutes. Okay, so okay, I can't. My screen has frozen.
Okay, so
yeah, what number of our successful learners visit the platform on a daily basis? So if you visit the platform, you read, you do something, right? You go through the concepts. So what is that number? 91% of our successful learners. Successful means people who have transitioned to fulfilling careers. Awesome. Hackathons and capstone. I hope we all understand what hackathons are. We have these competitions. Hackathons and capstones have increased chances of getting shortlisted in an interview by what percentage? This is at an individual level also. 60%. In fact, a lot of times hiring partners, if they see that you participated in a hackathon, they immediately shortlist to at least have a conversation in data science. So it definitely adds great value. So let me talk about these 6 guys: Varun, Gibran, Kedar. I think Rakesh Kedar. I will be talking about Jasraj also. So these are guys who have transitioned during the pandemic. They have all transitioned to really exciting jobs, I would say, in different companies. One of the latest guys is Varun Angalia. He comes from a chartered accountancy background. He had 3 years of articleship experience, completely no coding. This was an outlier. This was his first interview, and he cracked it. What did the hiring partner really like about him? He could understand business. He could really think from a very business point of view, and he had strong skills. Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, he was like a 23-year-old fresher, straight out of college, sort of a demeanor, I would say, but it went really well. Gibran is again a fresher straight out of college. Neosoft had, I would say, they were interviewing 19 to 20 people at the same time when Gibran was sitting for an interview. And again, it was a pressure test. In Gibran's own words, we make notes of these things. And he said that they were trying to grill me, they were trying to break me, they were trying to put a lot of pressure on me. This is something we've seen in a lot of other learners also. Gibran was given a hiring challenge, and it was an on-spot hiring challenge, which he had to complete within an hour. He had also cracked an interview at Equity Data Science, but he decided to go with Neosoft. Rakesh Kedar he's again an outlier. He had applied to, I would say, more than 400 jobs. He at one point of time he had 4 to 5 offer letters from companies like Transorg, Go Air, Johnson and Johnson, all of them, and eventually he had a very good hike also. Rakesh is right now working not at Transorg. He eventually joined Johnson and Johnson, and he's doing some great work there. Rakesh, Varun, all of these guys participate in a lot of hackathons, and that really works for them. Neil is right now studying, but this guy had so many offers that he had to convince hopscotch that I can do an internship because I'm right now studying. His interviews were also all pressure tests. They had a lot of machine learning related questions that came his way. He was also given an assignment, and the final, in fact, in his final questions which obviously he did not know answers for, but they just wanted to check whether he's open to learn or what kind of response he gives, whether he's flexible that way. So that's something they wanted to check. It was a dream company for him, and he's really happy. Aditya comes from an insurance background. He is an actuarial. And he has been working for at least 3 years. Bharti AXA was a perfect match for Aditya because insurance, and he had the right experience required. And he married his past domain with his new tech skills, and that helped him create a niche. Which is why we say if you come from a different domain, it's okay. It's gonna help. It really helps you become unique, a good combination which organizations look for. Aditya, again, a lot of them are our Bharti AXA is our hiring partner, but a lot of these learners who got placed, they did their own outreach, also reached out to people on LinkedIn, the right kind of networking, and that helped. Jasraj is an interesting guy. He was studying, he was preparing for his PhD in mathematics, but had zero coding experience. If I have to recode him, Jasraj said that I was the odd one out in my own team. Everybody knew coding. I did not know anything at all. He joined as an intern after pestering the CEO, and right now he's handling a whole team and 2 projects on NLP. Emotix is actually doing some very interesting work, and Jasraj is leading the team there. So you might want to connect. You can connect with any of these guys. They're all there on LinkedIn. They are mentioned in the success stories also. They're doing some great work, and we can add a lot more people to the list, but I think I'm gonna keep it at this, Mayuresh. Okay, so here are some of our hiring partners. I think we can add a lot, but okay, let's try to identify any companies, guys. Anybody, any company that you worked with or you would like to work with? I know we have episodes also. Sagar has hired from us. He's hired his juniors.
Yes.
All right, Nielsen. Yes. So some of the companies are right now interviewing our learners as we talk. So yeah, Deloitte. Awesome, great. So I'm sure this feels good that they're all popular names. All right, Mayush, do you want to take questions right
Yeah,
now?
I think we can just wrap up the next section and then come back to the questions.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Okay, how many failed interviews does it take before you get a job? Aishwarya, Chetan, lot of patience, guys. 25 plus, that's a lot of patience. Okay, so the average is actually 4. If I have to be very specific, but 3 to 5 is a good bracket. When we say that failed interview, it also means could be that the learner decided to not take that opportunity because it was different from what they were looking for, and at other times it's just not a culture fit. Sometimes they don't have tech skills. But yeah, 4 to 5 is average is fine, and it might be demotivating initially, but it actually helps you prepare for the next job. So it's okay. The GreyAtom success recipe, which is made out of pure experience. This is like GreyAtom's grandmom success recipe. All right. So how have we discovered this recipe? We've hosted so many events, monthly events, 45,000 plus online learners. We have so many aspiring learners on our platform, 450 plus really good mentors. We have Sagar here. 1,200 plus learners have successfully transitioned, and every day we hear good things. If you follow us on GreyAtom, you would see academia. We have our team have people who come with expertise like they're from IIT Madras, and a lot of B2B trainings we've done for the industry. So yeah, this is what helped us create this success recipe. We're going to share this with you. Okay, so portfolio projects. I think today, I don't know why I haven't spoken a lot about this, but over the week I'm sure your mentor would have. Portfolio projects are extremely important for someone who's transitioning. If I don't come from a data science experience, and if I go to an organization and give my resume, the first thing they'll ask is, why should we hire you? Do you have any experience? I have no experience, but I've done 2 really insane projects, and that kind of show my skill set, and I can prove it. So it validates my skills, right? Which is why portfolio projects are extremely important. All the learners who have transitioned have done some good independent work, and it really helps them. One hackathon to showcase, not just participating but trying to win. Usually our learners participate in multiple hackathons and they publish only the ones where they win. But definitely competing with multiple people, it really opens your mind and you get to know what's happening in the industry. Blogging, I know that not everybody can really blog, not everybody has a thing to really write, but reading a lot on Medium, if you can blog, great. But if our learners, when they can't blog, they at least reshare, share, talk about it. They connect with the right people on LinkedIn, Medium, they discuss. And even that's one way of showing your presence on Medium and LinkedIn. But again, the right content. So that really helps. Strong fundamentals, I think, is a non-negotiable. You need to know your ABC to be able to make words and sentences. Our learners have time and again gone back to G Labs. They have time and again gone back to the material shared by their mentors to refresh the concepts, because only when you know the basics can you really build something on top of that. And strong fun, and believe me, in interviews they ask very basic questions like definition level questions to check how strong the fundamentals are. So it's really important. You can't avoid that. You can't Google that. One superpower, there has to be one superpower that you identify for yourself. If you can match your aptitude, attitude, something that you really enjoy, and your domain experience, if you can club that and make one superpower, great. But it's going to take some while to explore and find out what your superpower is. But identifying that and reflecting that on the profile really helps in getting shortlisted and obviously getting selected in an organization. 4 field interviews, unlimited applications, yes. We've spoken about this, and a very strong LinkedIn and I would say GitHub profile, because GitHub shows your projects, and in data science it's extremely important. And LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a good platform to show everything that you can't put on your resume. Resume is a small document. LinkedIn, you can put everything under the sun that you've done in your professional experience. Not like an essay, but yeah. So a strong LinkedIn profile really helps you network with the right people and land a good job. yeah, so that's our success recipe.
Fantastic. I think thank you so much, Kritika. So I think let's quickly,
Mayurish, I want to add just one small thing.
please.
Initially, we were not, I wasn't sure, but I think we should do this. So, on the GreyAtom's Instagram page, we're planning to do some surprise live sessions. I'm going to go live on Wednesday and share some more hacks on, like 10 tips on probably resume or something to do with careers. So we're going to do some of these, and even on our page we otherwise are running some good competitions. So I'm going to share the link here if learners want to join on our Instagram page, and I'll see you guys there. If you join me on the live session on Wednesday evening.
Yeah, please make sure that you do join. Absolutely. Fantastic. So I think we have 15 questions. Let's get it down to 0. Right. So we have Sai Prakash. He's working as a project engineer, 3+ years of experience. Any tips that you can help in career transition? Sagar, you want to help on this? Sai Prakash, 3 years experience, industry 4.0.
So, this transition can be really easy provided you get your basics right. Sai Prakash, like I also told you during this entire 4 days, that focus on your basics, and when you go for an interview, you have to sell yourself to them. Okay, you need to tell them that why is it that the company should hire you, what makes you an asset for the organization, and talk about what have you done in the past for your existing organization, and had you been offered an opportunity to work in a data science role, what different could you have done? So at least that way you'll be able to connect your learnings with your past experience.
Awesome. Question for you, Kritika, from Puneet Gupta. So the question is, getting selected is the second step. How should you draw attention of the recruiters and get into the consideration set?
So there are multiple ways. I'm gonna share maybe some top ones here. One is definitely be very very active on LinkedIn, and if you start doing some good projects and you start showcasing them on your LinkedIn profile, then that will bring a lot of attention. Second is again hackathons. There are a lot of hiring hackathons that happen where if you perform well, you straight away go for an interview. And third is collaborate with us. We have amazing hiring partners.
Right. Awesome. So I think question from Raj over here, BTech Biotech, BTech in biotechnology, and currently working in a IT services based organization for the past 4-5 years as a software developer. Do you think this will help in my transition? Absolutely will. Biotech, pharma, or any of the BFSI. Typically, pharma, BFSI are one of the largest recruiters of data science professionals. Your experience is super relevant. Just the domain experience is very very relevant. So I think this is absolutely something that is in the thick of the things. There's a lot of data science that just happens in the pharma product molecule development and everything. So I think it's a very adjacent field. It's very much in demand, so be rest assured. I think this is not the reason that is going to hold you back. I think this is something that is more of a strength that you can just leverage at any point in time. Okay, 2020 graduate Bobby. Is a BSc pass out, but has a gap of 1 year, and I wanted to start my career as a data science. Will it affect my resume or future as a data scientist? So, Bobby, I think see, this is again see, when we are all students at different points in time, we think that the grades are like marks, grades, percentiles. Those are like the be all and end all of it, and they are not. They'll just help you get your first job if you go through some structured route, which is some campus placement or something of that sort. Um, this year, possibly in campus placement, starting from last year, is not the mainstream way of getting into the jobs. A lot of organizations, if you're seeing, whether it is KPIT, Sparkle, TCS, Code Ninjas, whatever it is, all these are now online. So they have completely democratized their way of reaching out to campuses. So be rest assured, gaps, your grades in your colleges are not the reason that are going to be holding you back at any point in time, right now or in the future. your trajectory might be a little different. If you come from a very pedigreed college, or if you have exceptional grades, you will get an early break in a structured organization. But something else is, but these things are not going to hold you back. I think if you're good, if you're able to prove that, if you're able to showcase it, I think there's as good as a chance as anyone else to be able to do successful in the short, mid, and the long run over here. Devkant, I'm asking you a question. I'm answering your question. Don't worry about it. It's very much there. So let me just take Dev's question right away. Dev has this question: is there a difference in the hiring process for data scientists in UK than in India? Okay, I'll put in my 2 cents and I'll invite Sagar to just chime in over here. We do a lot of work with Barclays and Barclays UK. So GreyAtom has traveled to UK and trained Barclays and everything. I've personally spent some time in London, understanding the data science scene, so on and so forth. Here is, I think, the number one thing. Sometimes I think Kritika spoke about this. I think your resume typically gets shortlisted in the first 6 seconds, so on and so forth. That is a very India phenomena, to be very honest. Typically, wherever the population is not as high as India, the number of applications that come in for some of these positions in UK or US is not very high, is not exceptionally high. So the hiring manager, the recruiting manager actually goes through your resume a little bit more at leisure. And if you've done something, there's a better chance of getting shortlisted. Second thing that I've seen over here is in both UK and the US, the premium that a recruiter typically places on the domain experience side of things is significantly higher than what you find in India. So those are the two differences. Sagar, you want to add anything over here?
No, I think Mayurish, you've covered it. But I think at the end of the day, what every company will look for is how good of a problem solver you are. So whether it is UK, whether it is US, or any part on this earth, if you are able to solve problems and you're able to put this thing across confidently during your interview, that's what the company expects.
So, Dev, are you currently based out of UK? And if you can just help us understand where are you in the UK, that would be really awesome. Okay, let me just quickly take a few more questions. Okay, he's in Cardiff. So I think, so we worked with Barclays, a lot of BFSI clients. So for us, UK has been typically London, and London specifically Canary Wharf. And so Canary Wharf is the place where Matrix was shot. I think that's the more popular way of understanding it, probably. Tall glass facade buildings, so on and so forth. So we've done a lot of work with BFSI clients over there because that's the thick of things over there. It's like almost the financial capital of the world. And second place we have worked a lot is Manchester. So I think these are the two sectors that this is one sector that we know is very aggressively hiring. They're actually struggling. That's the first-hand insight. I mean, I can discuss a few things off the cuff, but I think that's the first-hand insight that I have over here. Awesome. Perfect. Let me just quickly take another question from Devkant. What is the endpoint for learning in data science? I will take it as a philosophical question and I'll try and answer this. I think there's no real endpoint, but a logical endpoint where you can start approaching, for jobs and career opportunities in, say, the UK job market is if you've done supervised, unsupervised, maybe natural language programming, a bit of neural networks, and I think you're ready to go and hit the job market. And you've done that with depth. You're not skimmed through it. You've done like projects, and you're able to do things end to end. So that is, I think, a good intermediate point where you can start reaching out to the masses. G. Anil Kumar, is GreyAtom conducting any hackathons and will provide internship assistance? GreyAtom conducts a lot of hackathons for their students who are part of the program. There's something called as guided hackathons where actually people work in teams, geographically distributed, and they go through the whole process one-on-one. When we were doing our classroom programs till a bit of last year, we used to do this in the classroom format also. There's actually a video that's available on YouTube channel of ours, and you can have a look at it where people are coming and defending their hackathons and presenting it. So it all happens. We basically help in providing internships, so on and so forth. Career services is a very large part of what we do at GreyAtom. Kritika leads that whole initiative. She's part of the team. She runs that whole team. So that is very much the part of what we are at GreyAtom. So there is a reason why we put those logos. What those logos means is that our students work over there. That's it. That's what it means. Getting into gaming companies is a dream of mine. Sagar, gaming companies and data science. What is the intersection?
So I guess it is used heavily in all those online challenges. So there are a lot of boards that are competing. Reinforcement learning is used heavily in such situations. But the data from the gaming companies, specifically the EA Sports football data, people use it for making predictions for the next matches. And these betting companies like Ladbrokes, they also rely on this gaming data. I'm referring very specifically to EA, but this is also one of the use case.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, I think Dream 11 recruits from GreyAtom. But that's not exactly a gaming company, but yeah, it's a there is
fantasy team management kind of thing.
Yes. Let me take a few quick questions over here. What is the average salary for a data scientist? No one perfect answer, but let me just quickly hazard a guess so that people people get their answer. If you're starting out, absolute fresher, anywhere starting from given the current market situation, it can be anywhere between 3 lakhs to 8 lakhs. I'm being very generous with respect to the range. If it is an internship, it can be honestly depending on what the company is. If it's a real startup, it can be like 20,000 per month. For like for 3 months internship kind of a thing, to as has I've seen even like 40 to 50,000 internship also. If you are experienced working professional, it is going to be whatever is your current base salary plus something on top of it, which is the prevailing market situation. It can be 10, 20, 30%. Kritika, you have input over on this average salary question?
Yeah, even for the people who come with experience, they're usually flexible depending on how good their technical skills are and how similar the domain is. And for freshers, during the pandemic, we had people getting placed at 7 and 8 during the pandemic, and we've also had people getting placed at 13, 14. It's actually very varied depending on the organization, the project, and how good your skills are. It can start at 3 for sure.
Kritika, a question for you, possibly from Ishita. I am CSE with Masters in Counseling Psychology. I wish to find a field project with some overlap between the two. Can I find internships or jobs or research?
Okay, so I actually come with counseling psychology background, and I was doing some research myself. There are a lot of data science projects coming up in terms of psychometric tests and assessments. So those are some projects that you might want to start with. Are there jobs? I'm not sure. Research, definitely a lot of research opportunities. A lot of universities are taking up research. Like I know my university, Christ University, has some good projects on Rorschach and block tests and all of that. So you might want to explore the education sector where you can bring in a lot of data science.
Awesome. Do I need to drop out to study data science? No. Don't drop out. See, I think if you have a job in your hand and then you're going for a data science interview, I think there is I would say, a well-defined advantage. I would not say it's minor or a major advantage, but it is a very well-defined advantage. So don't drop out to do this. You can do this while you are at your current job and role and position. Put in the time and upskill. So I think we have seen enough number of people who are working full time and have made this kind of a transition. So please don't drop out. Not a smart move by any means or measure. So that's a very binary kind of a input over here. Gopi K has a question over here. How long does it take to be data scientist, to be self-sufficient, not to be dependent on others, who has exciting industry experience? So I'm going to answer the first
one. I'd like to take this up, Mayuresh.
Yes, please.
So Gopi, there will never be a situation where you will be 100% self-sufficient. You will still need Google. You will still need Stack Overflow. You're still going to have to talk to other people. You should be able to look at the right places. That's it. So you don't try to be an encyclopedia. Try to find the exact places, and you should know where to seek help and when to seek help.
Awesome. So I think, just to begin, if you're like a complete newbie, I would say budget a good 6 to 8 months of your life. Not, not, doesn't mean that you need to leave everything else and just put 6 to 8 months over here, but 6 to 8 months with 1 hour every day, consistent effort. I think you'll be able to make a transition. With the upskilling and the career transition part, that's all absolutely possible. It's based on real data and the transition that we have typically seen over here. All right. Just a few quick questions that we have, and I'm just going to, I think there are a lot of questions are repeating right now, so I'm going to take them really, really quickly over here. Here is a person. I'm just taking this question. The current salary is 30,000 per month with a 3.6 package. 4 years of experience. Can I get a package of 4 lakhs per annum after my course? Again, it's a very difficult question to answer over here. But the reason I'm taking this question up right now is that if you're having a compensation of 3.6 lakhs, is it possible to get a 12 lakh compensation in the first jump that you're looking at? So here is my thing. Don't do any program in your life with the hope, aspiration, intent that I will do this course and then I will get an immediate jump of 2x or 3x or something of that sort. I think what you're doing is something that is altering the trajectory of your life. So think slightly mid to long term over here. With data sciences, let me tell you a little secret. There is only competition at the beginning. Once you are kind of making that journey transition and have reached somewhere at a decent place, that future transitions are very, very fast. So it's really a starting kind of a thing. If you get that thing right, absolutely you'll be able to make that kind of a transition. Think slightly midterm. You'll be able to get more realistically 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs package, and then you can build on it, work at it for like a couple of years, and then again look at something better. All right, is data science for everyone? Is it like, are you a born data scientist or can you be made a data scientist? That's a question, an anonymous question. So yes, data science is for everyone. I think a similar question was asked at some point in time: is programming for everyone? Now, programming is being positioned to people who are 6 years old, as per the national education policy that has come up this year. Debatable, people have their opinions. Data science is for everyone. It is going to become a foundation skill. It is right now an aspirational skill. In 2020, it's an aspirational skill. It's a skill that you need to build. In time to come, it's going to become a foundation skill. 5 साल के बाद हर किसी को data science आता होगा. So it is for everyone. Absolutely, don't be worried about it. What is better, internships with pay, without pay? Internships are important. If you're getting an internship, you're getting to work with a good mentor, go for it. Don't think about the pay. If you're getting the experience on the paper, go for it. If you're getting an opportunity to learn, go for it. So don't think about the pay if you're in the internship phase of life. When will you share the resources to learn data science? After this. So patience, another 5 minutes, and we'll just quickly get started. Awesome. All right, we have 11 questions, and I'll try and take at least a few more, and then we'll just quickly move on. So, third year BSc Statistics, have started with Python. What should I do to get a job as a junior data scientist? I think you need to, beyond Python, have the whole, all the algorithms, not all the algorithms, some select algorithms sorted. More importantly, you should be able to pick up a problem, deconstruct it, solve it, communicate it. Those are all the skills that you need to have in place. And once those skills are in place, you should be able to go and hit the market, portray the skills, project your skills, and be able to fetch that kind of a job. So I think a few quick things: make sure that you have a very strong portfolio. Make sure you have in the habit and you have that machinery of reaching out to people, connecting with them, and you're just talking to enough data scientists to be able to make this kind of a transition happen for you. A lot of questions are coming in, so awesome. Right. So Java, JEE, Dev, Architect work in most of. Okay, you're taking a break from the industry. Can I take data science as a hobby, or should I fully dedicate? I think it's a very strong career option. So you can start off as a hobby, but I think it's a very strong career option where it's a highly remunerative and long-term sustainable career option. It's really a personal choice. Uh, Not sure if I can add anything over here, given the amount of information. What it tells me is that you have a strong programmatic background, solutioning mindset. Uh, Possibly you have clocked in a number of years in the industry, so you should be able to pick it up. Initially, you dabble with it, and then you kind of excel at it. Awesome. Shri, I have built a career in computer vision. Should I get oriented with data science or machine learning, deep learning, or all of them? Sagar, do you want to take this question from Shri?
Yeah, sure. So I think at the beginning, it is important for you to explore and understand which kind of data science projects do you enjoy the most, and accordingly target and try to make a career in one specific specialization. So when you're starting, don't really uh, be adamant about just a computer vision or just NLP. Explore it, learn more about it, and then if you're absolutely sure that computer vision is the thing for you, then you should try and specialize in it. But explore everything in the beginning.
Absolutely. Pawan, I'm an electronics engineer myself. You have 2 years of experience. You're doing a lot of embedded, so possibly some sort of a ARM Cortex type stuff. Great start. I think you're stuck with the core sector. If you're looking to get into data sciences, there's a lot of data that gets generated on a lot of these devices. Manufacturing, automotive, a lot of things can be done over there. Get the skills in data sciences in place, and you will discover that intersection where if you want to stay with your past and build on it, or you want to start something afresh, both the options are possibly open and available for you. If you're doing a lot of embedded engineering, you're doing a lot of C programming, to the best of my understanding, or some sort of assembly level. You're well and truly on your way. So just stay with it, and you'll be able to make that kind of a transition happen for you. How to figure out good data science mentors companies to take up internships. Kritika, you want to take this one?
Yes, I will. How to figure out good mentors, companies. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going back to the same thing that I said. One is LinkedIn. That's where you follow the right hashtags and the right groups. There are a lot of data science groups that I follow. Some of them would be hashtag machine learning jobs, hashtag data science internships, hashtag internships, and that's how you can find out about some good organizations that are taking up interns. And how to figure out good data science mentors. I'm assuming by this you're talking about good experts who you can learn from. I think that's also a lot of networking. That's also following the right people, not just the right pages. There are some really good data scientists that our learners have always followed. People are doing some excellent work out there. Some of our mentors also, if you follow them, you get to know a lot of good stuff. So that's how you do. One small tip: whenever you connect with these people, please add a note to it. Don't just send a connection request; they will never remember you. Even if you add Mayuresh, Sagar, and me, please add a note to the LinkedIn request. That's how people remember you, and you build a network.
If you're sending an invite to me, my connections are maxed out, so I won't be able to accept. But please do that. What does a data scientist do all day? I think everything that you've done for the last 4 days, that's exactly what a data scientist does, and maybe a lot more. Everything that you've done the last 4 days, you possibly do in one single day. You're working with stakeholders, talking to them, communicating your results to business. All of those things happen. So I think this 5 days is the precursor to what you typically do. Maths and stats are my weakness. Any advice? Yes. Maths and stats are required to be a very good data scientist. Yes. To start out, that is not the starting point. You can start programmatically, you can start with developing visual intuition and start building these competencies as things move on. Maths and applied mathematics is what you typically need. Applied statistics is what you need, and the applied part comes when you start understanding the business and the use cases and actually start solving it. That's when you get higher, deeper, better intuition and learning. There's nothing called as they are my weaknesses, trust me. There's a book called as Street Fighting with Mathematics. Please go through that. Street Fighting with Mathematics. It's a very nice book, and there are lots of such books. There is one more YouTube channel called as Three Brown, One Blue, or One Blue, Three Brown, something like that. It's a very nice YouTube channel. You can follow that
Three
also.
blue, one brown.
Yeah, Three Blue, One Brown. Awesome. So Lots of resources, man. There's nothing called as weaknesses in maths and stats. You can at any point in time build this thing up. Awesome. 7 pending questions. I'm going to take them a little later. 9:17. I want to make sure that I pass on all the learning resources and goodies. I introduce them today and I send them to you by Monday. We will send it to you sooner, but I'll send them to you by Monday. So let me just quickly move on to you. Next 10 minutes is going to be super fast, because I think we are just going to be introducing to you, helping you just understand, pinpoint, and how do you use. A lot of you have this question: how do I become a data scientist? And we have kind of said this very explicitly. You will have everything that it takes to become a data scientist. We are sharing that thing with you right now. So let me just quickly move on to this. It is 9:18, and I'll just wrap this up by 9:28, and this is going to be really, really super, super, super fast. Number one is you need super solid content available for you. Go to GitHub, search for this thing called as 26 weeks of data science, and find out all the notebooks that are available over here. Fork this particular repo, keep it with yourself, and use it. This is not copied content. This is not fetched from the web. This is created by GreyAtom. This is created by GreyAtom. We have created this. We know at least one IIT which uses this curriculum for one of their modules. We know at least a couple of people who are using this as full-fledged curriculum for their programs. It's a very strongly developed piece of content. You will have it. We'll also be sharing an ebook with you over here with all of these things. The topic, the notebooks, cheat sheets, everything. It's coming to you on Monday. You will receive an email and that will have all the details. If you don't find the email in your inbox, check your spam, or it will be coming to you. So please check your inbox. The videos are basically 17 and a half hours of the course curriculum delivered, properly high production values videos by Rohit Ghosh. Rohit Ghosh is an IITB alum. He's a founding member of Cure.ai. Cure.ai is one of the companies which is incubated in the Fractal fold. We have worked with Rohit. Rohit has been a founding slash a very strong force behind GreyAtom with respect to influencing the way the curriculum content delivery typically happens. So the sessions are delivered by him. So that's coming to you. It's in your kitty, it's in your inbox, and you will be receiving that. Be rest assured. You're already part of the Telegram groups. I won't spend too much time on this. Make a good use of it. Take screenshots, send it over here, ask questions, and you will get the answers. So just make sure that you're making good use of it. I believe you have access to the GreyAtom learning platform. You should have access to the 5-day data science workshop over there. You should have access to the Python for data science, and you will have access to everything that we are discussing over here in the GreyAtom learning platform by Monday. So we will be sharing those accesses with you tomorrow, but by Monday you will have them. I'm just making a promise for Monday because I think we're going to share them with you tomorrow, but you will have it much sooner than that. So that's the GreyAtom learning platform, and just won't spend too much time on it, but I want you to go and explore those particular things. I want you to go and take this questionnaire. I want you to go and take this questionnaire. It's called as a WARC questionnaire. It is not a GreyAtom product. It is a third-party product, and there are multiple such products. But this will help you discover what is your style of learning. How do you learn the best? Whether you learn by hearing, whether you learn by reading, whether you learn by watching videos, or you learn by coding. It will help you discover that. The GreyAtom learning platform, the whole pedagogy is developed in a way which will be catering to all these modes. Is this valid for only 14 days? Chetan, no. No, Chetan. Everything that we are sharing with you is with you. This is not valid for 14 days. This is with you. Be rest assured. Awesome. The next thing I want you to go and do is, when you have the necessary skills, necessary level of skills, I want you to go and register with Pram. In Pram, you can start a practice peer-to-peer mock interview where you say, okay, let me select the applied data science and let me select the time and the date. Once you select the time and the date, you will be matched with someone, a human being from a different part of the world, who is also preparing. and you'll be given a questions that you need to ask the other person, and the other person will have questions that they will want to ask you. So just make sure that when you are ready, when you've reached a certain place, with respect to your preparedness, you will be able using something like this. This is available for 6 times free, and beyond which it is paid. So make sure that you're using this absolutely wisely. Quickly moving on, make sure that you're spending your time wisely. Audit your time. Just know where you're spending your time. So this is something which is like, the first few days of August, how am I spending my time? So it tells me that, I'm spending my time productively or unproductively, or what kind of softwares and everything I'm using. So it kind of gives you a good kind of a breakdown. This will help you analyze yourself. It's like a good audit, and it's like a good, starting point to get that discipline. A lot of what we are saying is all about discipline. Purely, the transition is all about discipline. It is not about talent. It is not about skill. It is about discipline. If you're able to apply yourself, you'll be able to make this thing happen for yourself. Quickly moving on, you have your resume, you have your job description, and you put both those things in a particular software, and that software will tell you whether your resume is good enough for that particular job description. This is very, very important, because a lot of product companies, because a lot of companies in general are using bots to read your resume and to select or reject. They are using bots to select or reject your resume. So you want your resume to cross that initial hurdle, and make it. Something like this is going to help you. So you upload your resume, you upload the job description, and then it will just give you some very clear set of insights. This is what you need to do to make sure that your resume kind of stands out. Awesome. So these are a few tools which are available. None of them are GreyAtom tools. There are a lot of such tools available in the market in each of the categories that we have said, and they will help you to get started. Everyone has a free tier. Everything has a free tier, and that should be really, really very, very helpful and useful for you. Awesome. Just make sure that you're completely plugged in into the whole larger scheme of things. And before that, let me just quickly request Sagar to walk you through these 6 books. Sagar, if you can just help people understand what these books are, maybe in the next 3 minutes.
Yes, sure, Mahirish. So guys, so people who are just starting out this 100-page ML book, it's a 360-degree view of what machine learning is all about, and it is really beginner friendly. So for people who are just starting off, I would highly recommend this book. And the first 3 or 4 books that I'm going to talk about, please go in the specific order. Okay, read this book cover to cover. It is suitable for beginners, and there are code alongs in this book that you should follow. It will really get you started with machine learning. Second one is think stats. So like I always keep telling, first apply machine learning and then think about the statistics behind it. So with a 100-page ML book, your application will be in place. You will be comfortable applying machine learning algorithms, and then you should think about the statistics behind it. And that's where the think stats will come into picture. Again, read this cover to cover, beginner friendly, and you will also have code along here. And after that, important thing for you guys to do will be automate things. There are a lot of things that you will find repetitive in your work. And if you want to be an effective data scientist, you should get good with Python. And this book will help you automate things. And as always, keep following the code alongs. The first 3 books that I spoke about, guys, please follow it in the sequence. Mirish, we can go to the next one. Okay, next is Python Data Science Handbook. Once we've covered the first 3 books, you can move to this. This is an intermediate level book, but the code alongs are pretty nice. It's from O'Reilly publication. O'Reilly books are very nice. If you all want, you can take a subscription of O'Reilly too. But this will be very helpful only after the first 3 books have been covered. Okay. Yeah, Mirish, can we go to the next one? Okay, Machine Learning Yearning is by Andrew Ng. So one of the names which I suggested you guys to follow. Again, this is intermediate. This will tell you all about the project management in data science. How if you want to build a team and manage a project in data science, this book is extremely good at managing your data science projects. So once you're comfortable with the overall machine learning ecosystem, This book will help you build very good GitHub projects, guys. And last but not the least, the Field Guide to Data Science. This is again suitable for beginners. Code alongs are really nice with this book. But the first five are a definite must. The sixth, I would consider this to be optional. But the first five is a definite read. Are there any other resources that you would like to suggest, Mayuresh?
I think a lot more to share. So let's just quickly move on. One quick thing, we'll be sharing ebooks of all these things. They are not smuggled. They are all available for free on the web. They're all available for free on the web. So GreyAtom is not buying them for you and sharing them with you or anything of that sort. What is the important part is that I think the problem is that there is just too much resources out there and there's too much noise and very little signal. It is very important to just help you pinpoint. Uh, we don't expect you to kind of exhaust all of these things over the first month or anything of that sort. So this is possibly your reading material for the next year, to be very honest. So don't get into like ye book padna hai, khatam karna hai, and all those kinds of things. So I think this is the thing. Quickly moving on, we want you to be plugged into not just our ecosystem but the global ecosystem. So just start using a app like Pocket or Feedly and just organize your resources that you are following in your Pocket or in your Feedly. Feedly and Pockets are app, and you can just quickly explore them and figure out for yourself, and you'll have all of these things. So Sahib Deep, you will have all these links coming to you. Everything is going to be shared with you on Monday. Trust me, and we'll be sharing that with you twice so that it hits your inbox enough number of times so you don't miss it. Don't worry about it. So just make sure that you are plugged into the larger ecosystem. This will be something if you're traveling to your workplace, if you started going to office, if you are having some slack time, this is a place that you need to go open your cell phone and just keep on deleting these resources. This is not educational material, but this will help you understand what is the cutting edge, what is happening right now, and that will help you just stay abreast of all the develops that's out there. How do you spend your day? What should you do today, day after, tomorrow? It's a prescriptive guide, helps the beginners. You'll stay with this for the first 60 days, and then you'll find more accurate ways of helping yourself. But this is something that helps you set, this is my learning goal for the day, this is my revision goal for the day, this is my stretch goal for the day, all those kinds of things. So it's an ebook that is going to be shared with you. This is coming your way on Monday. Please. Awesome. Quickly moving on, guys. I'm sure you'll be using Atom, Sublime Text, PyCharm, or some such IDE locally on your laptop. So with that, please install WakaTime. WakaTime is a plugin. It's very easily available, integrable, free, and this will tell you how much time you're spending on a particular language. And if you exceed more than 60 minutes on a single day, you might want to tweet about it, and it will just help you keep that thing that aaj tweet kiya, aaj ho gaya. It'll give you that kick to stay disciplined. Something which is a very small trick we've seen. This makes people do things in a very different way. Things like 100-day coding challenge, 100-day data science challenge. I think these help people. We have seen people go through it. One of our students, Abhini Shete, she actually went through the whole 100 days religiously. Her LinkedIn feed is full of it. Some really good self-validation and a good journey that happens over there. Awesome. I think we're kind of done with all the goodies that we wanted to share with you, all the learning material that we wanted to share with you. It's all coming to you in a very structured way. So that's it, guys. With respect to the specific help on the job application sides and mentor side, I think we'll be very happy to share that with you, but it comes in a slightly different form factor, and we'll just discuss that very, very quickly. 9:31, another 2 minutes, and I'll wrap this thing up for you. You need a mentor. I think that's what you've said it in the past, in the interview. This is the beginning, guys. This is the start. The 5-day is a kickstarter. This helps you get started. There is a journey that is in front of you. It is awaiting you. You will have good days and you will have bad days. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to pull your hair out. But then I think along the journey somewhere is going to be a happy day where you're able to make this transition. And we are very practical about this. So stay focused and make this thing happen for you. Want to become a data scientist? Please hang on. Please stay back. If the answer to this particular question is yes, stay back and I'll help you understand exactly more and specifically about all of these things. Meanwhile, if you need to leave at this point in time, share your feedback with us. Put the certificate that you will get by Monday on LinkedIn. Uh, Blog about it. You should search for it. I think a lot of people have written about it. It's a very interesting journey for people. So blog about it. Share your certificate, of course. Spread the cheer. Tell your friends. Very happy to interact and speak to a lot many more people. And you will be invited to a lot of webinars going forward. So make sure that you're part of G Tribe. You're part of the larger ecosystem, and we'll be very happy to invite you in different bits and pieces. We're very happy to talk to you. If you need to reach out to us, if you have any questions, please reach out to again mayuresh.shilotri@greyatom.com, and very happy to take up questions. Very happy to take up any things over here. Devkant, the answer to your question is yes. You need to create an account on G Tribe. You'll have a task on day 5. Just because it is day 5, it doesn't mean that you don't have tasks. We absolutely have a task, so make sure that you finish that also. Awesome. Good night. Go for gold. 9:33. I'm wrapping this up for a lot of you. If the answer to this particular question is yes, want to become a data scientist in the next 180 days, then please stay back for the next 2 minutes, and we'll be completing all the questions that are pending from the questions that have been asked previously, and also be answering all these questions. So please stay back. A lot of you asked about the income share model. We mentor you, we get you job, and then you kind of pay. So I just wanted to quickly understand. Would you be interested in knowing more about the data science career track with artificial intelligence in the income share model? What the income share model typically means is that we actually mentor you, then we help you get a job, and then you actually pay for it. To participate in this particular program, there is a fee component that is upfront, and then the bulk of the component is later. But that is once you get a job. So there is a small participation fee, and then something else comes up in the future. Awesome, great. Thank you so much, guys. If the question to your answer is this: want to become a data scientist in the next 180 days? Yes. Stay back. In case, feel free to drop out. I'm going to help you understand a GreyAtom product, a GreyAtom program. I'm going to take 10 minutes of your time. It's going to be super fast. And I'm just going to help you understand what that product is all about. Awesome. Done. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in like less than 30 seconds.
Thanks, Mayuresh.
Thanks, Sagar. Thanks, Kritika.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right, great. Let me quickly get started. Recording for today will be shared. Saranya, no, recording for today won't be shared, Saranya. But I think the material and everything, the deck and everything would be shared with you, so don't worry about it. Awesome. Let's get started. It is 9:36, and I just want to wrap this up by 9:46 for all of you over here. So I'm just going to breeze through this over here. So here's a quick, short, and sweet thing for you. You've been with us for the last 5 days. You understand how GreyAtom works. And this has been a journey for you. So I just wanted to quickly help you understand what is this transition program. All the details are available on the website, but I just wanted to quickly walk through this and open something quickly for you at this point in time. This program comes with mentor sessions. This program comes with 18 career sessions, which are held on Sunday. So there's a Sunday session and a Saturday session. It comes with a close to 100 hours of live mentor training, 100 hours of live mentor training, and the guided hackathons that we spoke about, where you actually solve the hackathons properly. Access to the whole data science platform that we have at GreyAtom. So this is a completely focused program. This is a transition program. The name of the program is Transition Program. It is mentor led. So you have mentors who are delivering this, because we know that mentors are the ones who matter. The dates, the sessions, and everything is loaded inside the GreyAtom learning platform. You go inside the GreyAtom learning platform, you click on it, and you kind of get started with respect to your sessions. Career services are very much part of it. Jobs that we uncover as part of the whole career services team that we have, we unlock them with you, and they are also shared with you. There's of course a proper framework in place which tells us that you are ready for the job or you're not ready for the job, and it accordingly helps you kind of move on. Code alongs are here. There are people like Manish Kukreja, who's logging in from New Zealand. He's a data scientist. He's helping us, he's helping you to become a data scientist. You want to be like him, you want to see him in action. So you will be attending sessions from people like him. And then there are these career sessions. Career sessions are very simple. What if you had a session where you are actually discussing how to solve this particular question which was asked in this interview, how to handle a particular question that is asked in another interview. And these questions are not questions with respect to HR or anything of that sort. Apart from them, and mostly focused on the technical part, how do you handle the technical questions in the interview process? That's something that is super important. The most important part over here is the most iterated curriculum. The most iterated curriculum. This is the curriculum that you need. The curriculum, the content that is part of the data science program, the transition program, is completely 100% totally different than everything that has been shared with you before 9:30. So that is different. That is self-sufficient. That is really good. Trust me. But in case you need mentor, you need help consistently over the next 6 months, data science transition program is for you. Absolutely. Awesome. How does it work? You basically become part of the orientation session that is going to happen this particular Thursday. You join the base camp, which will help you get started with Python. If you don't know coding, we start with how to code, what to code. We basically start from absolute basics, how to code. Complete beginners can also start from here. Then you get into the mentor code along sessions and the career Saturdays. You also have access to G Labs. You practice on your own. You practice with the mentors. You have access to the Slack channel, which is only for the learners. And you can also be, once you have reached a certain point, you will have access to the whole career services team that is over here. So you have a very complete journey mapped out for you, and the whole experience is completely over here. There's a complete total team that's behind this. 100%. 9:40. I promise to wrap this up by 9:46, and we will be doing this by 9:46. Awesome. Guys, this program is for 19,999. It's on the website for you. And please wait. This program is at a different price point because you are the 5-day data science student, and this is coming to you at a different price point. Plus, you will have access to all these things. You will have access to all these goodies. If you go to the website, some of these things may not be available. On the website, these things are not listed. These things are only available through this particular 5-day workshop. So whether it is the Python for Data Science workshop, which is the 16 hours, it is not 6 hours, it is the 16-hour workshop which will be conducted. This is the initial base camp that we spoke about, which we will be adding to your kitty. The Tableau part, if you're an executive working professional, you need to do slice and dice, build dashboards. Tableau is for you. We do a lot of these workshops outside of India, in the US and the UK, and this is how we typically do them. But we are adding them for you as part of the transition program. Time series, a very undertreated topic. A very undertreated topic. No one touches it, covers it. A self-paced model is available over for you, and that is for you. We do this only for some of the clients in India and also outside, but mostly in India for this particular thing. It's also getting added to your kitty. Natural language processing with deep learning, self-paced. This is developed completely by Dilip. Dilip is the head of academics, and he's kind of developed this. This is we don't even do this in India. We don't sell this in India. This is only for people outside. This is also getting added to your kitty. Finally, last but not the least, this is one session which is conducted. This is an awesome session. This really helps you understand how to solve the business problems time and again. It's a very short, quick session, not to be missed. This is also getting added to your kitty right now. The whole thing comes to some magical large number, but this thing is coming to you for 9,999, inclusive of everything that we have discussed so far, and this is coming to you. And that's all that I just wanted to share with you. And yep, that's the short summary. So I believe Nishant is here, and I think he'll just share a link with you in case you wish to enroll for this particular program. And absolutely, I see a few questions. I'll quickly answer all of those questions. Don't worry about it. And yeah. G. Anil Kumar, timings of the sessions. So sessions are on Saturday and Sunday. It is from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. सुबह 8 बजे से 10 बजे तक, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. A lot of our learners actually join in from Singapore and also from Dubai. So these are the two geographies. So it also works out very favorably for people who are in the US. So 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the timing over here. Dr. Sanjeev Modi. So Sanjeev sir, thank you so much. The batch date is, the next batch is on the 5th of December. 5th of December. That is the first Saturday next month. So 5th of December is the day. Awesome. I think the questions are racing. I'm not able to see them. Just a minute. What if I work on Saturdays? So Aishwarya, I think this is a question that does come up fairly regularly. So if you work on Saturdays and if your work essentially is right now work from home, then you can definitely attend from 8 to 10 at home, and then request your working reporting manager that you will be joining in 30 minutes late on Saturday. If your work involves that you travel, and it's a client facing role where you actually, there's no chance that you cannot do any of these things, then you can either attend the sessions on the cell phone while you're in the transit, or all of these sessions are recorded and you will have the recording then and there. So inside the GreyAtom learning platform, you will get the recording once the sessions are done. We strongly recommend that you attend them in person. So that's the thing. Abhishek Mukherjee has a question. Then what about the upfront fee or the share model? Great question. So the income share model, the data science program, with artificial intelligence that we asked about, how many of you are interested? That program is again, all the details are available on the website. So what happens over there is that once you get in, you get to access all these sessions. Everything is common, same. You will have the same experience, same benefits, perks, all those kinds of things. Plus, a very strong component of career services. A very strong component of career services. What it typically means is that your success is our success. When you get compensation above a particular level, that's when our compensation kicks in. When you start earning, we start earning. So career services component is extremely strong over there. What we mean by that is that you will have a mentor that will be assigned to you. Once you have reached a particular point, you will have a career mentor who will be essentially helping you, with respect to polishing your skills, getting your interview prep in place, having some ad hoc extra sessions at the end of it, a lot of interview polishing, preparing that happens at the end of it. So that is something that is a very custom experience at the end of it. The fees for that particular program is 40,000 plus GST. 40,000 plus GST. That is the component which is upfront, and then there is a pay later component. All the details are available on the web. Please go and check it out. once you become the part of the transition program, once you're part of the transition program, you can easily upgrade into the pay later model. You can easily upgrade into DSAI, and you will only have to pay the difference. So there's nothing called as, you need to pay another 40,000 or anything of that sort. That's a very different model. That's a very different program. The career services is totally different. That's a very different kind of a thing that's happening, that's out there. Awesome. Let me take a few more questions. So Shama, I think we'll just confirm it. Devkant, can I get this program in the month of December first week? So it starts in the first week of December itself. Absolutely. Is the question that can you pay in the first week of December? Then I think I would say that you can enroll right now, but the sessions are definitely going to start in the first week of December. Do we have a evening batch? No, sir. We have multiple batches that are running, but what we have discovered is that people are typically more and more keen on getting into a morning kind of a batch. We've tried with the evening batch once. I think there's not enough activity that typically ends up happening over there. That's essentially our challenge over there. Yes, Dr. Sanjay, the cost of the whole course, including the goodies, is just 9,999 for the next good 30 minutes, please. Yeah, I think, why is this starting from 12 minutes? Sorry. Let me take a few more questions. What is the complete curriculum for this GreyAtom transition program? So Mohammad Ali, the whole curriculum is put on the screen right now, and it's all over here. So this is the whole complete curriculum that's out there. Can we pay later? So Mahesh, I think if you're asking for this particular transition program, you can enroll on transition program. You can go on the website and enroll at any point in time. But this is something that we are opening for you at this point in time right now. So that's the thing. If I get a job, how much percentage share I have to pay to GreyAtom? So, Mano, I think I would definitely recommend that you go to the website and figure out all the details, because I think, and if you have just, we had asked a poll earlier today. If you answered yes over there, then I think we'll reach out to you and help you understand all of those things by Monday next week, definitely. So all these details are available on the web. So I think so that's essentially the short answer, but it is around, if I'm not mistaken, it is 17% for 2 years or something like that. Let me just quickly check. Or I think it is. Let me just bring out the number for you right now. Yeah, it is 1 lakh once you get the job, which is the job has to be above a particular threshold. So that's why we're saying I think we'll give you a call on Monday for this particular program. Done. Abhishek Mukherjee, do we get placement assistance for data science transition 180 days program? So Abhishek Mukherjee, the answer to that is that in the data science transition program, you have access to the career services team, to the placement. We will essentially be sharing all the opportunities that come to us, and we'll be sharing them with you. You'll be attending all the career Sundays. So as a part of that, you will have access to a lot of things, all the things, to be very honest. With the data science larger program, which is the pay later model, there I think the career services component is stronger. You will you'll have to go through it to experience it. Where people really get on back of your head and make sure that you succeed, and that's how the whole thing works. So that's the essential difference. There's not much of a difference otherwise. Can I do all these things after Jan or Feb? You can enroll, and I think we'll be very happy to put you in a batch that will start in Jan. So very happy to do that, Bobby Singh. Yes, the answer to your question is yes. Any EMI options for this? Aishwarya, no. There's no EMI option. I think we are making it very, very sweet for you at this point in time. So there are no EMI option for you for this particular program. For the other program, which is the transition program, there is an EMI option. For the pay later model, there is a option available for EMI. Jerin, please answer question from Slido. I will answer that. I will answer. Don't worry about that. I will make sure that I answer that absolutely. All the enrollment confirmations, Nishant is responding to them. Thank you so much. Mahesh MN, how many days is this particular program? So Mahesh, the whole program takes 7 months. So typically there are 24 sessions plus 18 sessions plus 8 sessions, which is the base camp. And other than that, there are office hours, which we typically call people. All the sessions are on the weekends. All the sessions are on weekends. Office hours are on weekdays in the evening. Those are not compulsory sessions, but those are doubt solving sessions. If people have any questions, they come and join that particular thing. It takes 7 months. 6 months is what is written on the website. It takes 7 months practically. That's the reality. Sonali Ingre, what about the pay later course fee structure? So you can go to the website. The upfront payment component, is 40,000 plus GST, and then there is a component which kicks in once you get a job. So Sonali, I made a note of your name. There was one more person, and I think the chat is with us. So we will reach out to you on Monday with all the details, and we'll give you all these kinds of things. But the short answer to your question is 40,000 plus GST. So Abhishek Mukherjee, surely join the pay later program. So you don't need to join any other program after this. Once you're part of the transition program, you can just upgrade to the pay later program. So pay later program is just the strong career services component. So both the programs are essentially same. This is a subset of that program. The pay later program has a career services component which is much more stronger. So that's a key and a clear difference. There is no difference in curriculum, nothing extra being taught over here that is not taught over there, or anything of that sort. The transition, that is the sweet spot of the whole thing. Mahesh MN, even I need to know about the pay later model. So Mahesh, if you have answered that particular poll, yes. But Mahesh, you along with Abhishek and Sonali, we will reach out to you on Monday with all the details. Krishma, is there any data analytics course available? So at GreyAtom, the way we choose to look at some of these things, specifically with respect to data analytics, data sciences, it's not like a very hard line that we draw between all of these things. We believe that the future is programmatic. There is a very strong no code component globally that is happening. We respect that, but at the same time, we believe that to be significantly future proof, it is better that the talent becomes programmatic, and hence I think a data sciences based course where I think you cut your teeth on Python is something that is more relevant, and that will give you like a long lasting advantage. So that's essentially the thing that we believe in. Done. Let me just quickly take the questions. There are a few people who are waiting for the questions that need to be answered, so I need to clear the backlog. That's like a promise that we have. All right. Please keep your questions coming in. I'll be very happy to answer all of them, but I want to wrap this thing up. It's a promise. I'm not comfortable with probability, differential calculus, integral calculus. Please suggest action for transitioning into data science. So, guys, if you're not comfortable with probability, differential calculus, integral calculus, see, it's like you're not going to be asked to solve numerical puzzles. No one is going to give you like a surface integral or anything of that sort, or you'll be doing some sort of a spring and dampener and mass system or anything else. So no physics or nothing of that sort is going to be happening. But what is definitely going to happen is that when you look at a particular thing, you need to have either a geometric understanding of it, you need to have a visual understanding of it, and there has to be some intuition that has to exist over there to be able to appreciate things mathematically. So it doesn't mean that you need to be absolutely hands. So if you don't need to start with 11th standard, like matrices, determinants, limits, continuity, first order, differentiation, partial differential. So that's not the expectation over here. What is expected is that you first start with, start either programmatically, start applying, start solving, and then you start discovering how some of these things work. So don't kill yourself if you don't understand a lot of these things completely to begin with or anything of that sort. So if you need any resources that is specifically looking to brush up some of these skills, very happy to refer a lot of these things. But as I said, I think the 3 blue 1 brown, that is a good resource to start developing a lot of understanding. With respect to calculus, I think there used to be a very thick book. I think the name was Wilson or something, but I would not recommend that. It's too deep. There is a cartoon series. I actually have the book. I can try and get it, and I'll actually get it for the next session. Or I'll just share that in the mail. But that is a good book that will help you develop like a good intuition. So I think a lot of those gradient descent algorithms, surface integrals, and how the whole thing works intuitively, it gives you like a good download of all those kinds of things. Please suggest an action plan. Don't develop an action plan. I think try to develop skills that will give you mobility in the the tangible skills, and these are the things that you can develop. See, it's like when you're doing gymming, muscle building, a lot of people go and stand in front of the gym and they look at their triceps and flex their biceps and all those kinds of things. But there are muscles which are internal, which are not visible. If you look at the basic anatomy, you will find a lot of muscles which are internal inside over here, and those are not visible over there. They add a lot of mass, they add to the appeal and the look of it, but you can develop them over a period of time. So I would say that be kind to yourself, give yourself some time. So that's my only thing over here. I'm looking at a question from Jerin over here. Will I get all this again if I enrolled for the bootcamp? I'm not sure what this question is. I think everything that we have to share with you, we've already shared with you, Bobby. So yes, everything that was shared with you before 9:30, you will get as part of the 5-day bootcamp, and everything that is after that is part of the transition program. GS Jha, okay, feature engineering. Okay, so blank rows, columns, filling it with mean mode. So I think missing value imputation, cleaning, whether you should clean, whether you should not clean, whether you should develop synthetic data, plug it in, amplify your data. I think these are all very data set specific questions that need to be answered in the context of the business. if you're going to do if it is like if you worked on a lot of clinical data, in clinical data you will never do imputation because you're looking at a lot of vitals which have impact on the life and death of the individual. If it is a real time system, there's no imputation that is happening over there. If you're looking at a data which is classroom data, marks, regression based, I think you're very happy and safe to do imputation, filling values. Feature engineering can be belonging to two schools of thought. One is, I think, something that is econometric, where you understand what is the underlying phenomena, and then you hypothesize. Like you have a demand supply curve. The demand supply curve is X, so you have an understanding of that. It can be like slightly bent curve and all those kinds of things. So either you can come from that school of thought and say, this is how you should do a feature engineering and do a square of it, log of it, square root of it, or anything of that sort. Or if you are coming from a different school of thought where you're saying, what, let's just plug in the variables and let the model do its own thing, and it'll do all the combinations of it. Then I think that's the second part of it. So I mean, this question is something that Sagar probably will give you one more perspective, Jivesh, if you're around. But yeah, that's the scent that I can add to this at this point in time. Awesome. Let me just quickly move on. Can you share the complete curriculum of the transition program, and when is the last day to apply for the December batch? So there is no last day to apply for the December batch, to be very honest. The complete curriculum for the transition program is available on the website. Let me just share it with you on Monday. I'll share it with everyone on Monday. Don't worry about it. I'll send it sooner than that. My communication skills are bad. How can I improve? I'm not sure if this is the right forum to answer this question. I'm just going to mark this tick off. I'm in the final year of BSc, BTech with CSE. It is better to go for placements or opt for MTech in DSML, as many placement companies are offering only support IT jobs. It is always good to do MTech. And I think there are MTechs available these days in DS and ML and all those kinds of things also. Don't do MTech because the placement scenario is good or bad in a particular year. Do MTech because you want to do MTech. Do MTech because you really believe that you are technically passionate enough to pursue something even more deeper. Doing an MTech is not going to guarantee anything. Very honestly, it's going to be like another 2 years that you put in. I am not a proponent for or against any of these programs, but if your objective is career transition, I think you better hit the job market sooner, because the broader trend is that people are valuing skills over certification a lot more, and that's the broader trend. Perfect. Rubish Kumar Pushkar, awesome. MCA pass out, completed Python, NumPy, Django. I want to go for it. Okay, so Rubish Kumar, please make the most use of everything that we have shared with you as resources as part of the 5D data science workshop. The notebooks that are part of the 26 weeks of data science, the videos which are delivered by Rohit Ghosh. Absolutely, they are very strong. They are different than everything that is available in transition program. In transition program, the sessions are delivered by Shantanu Kumar, who was head of Infido, and now he is working with LinkedIn. And it's a very completely disjoint set. So please make use of that. If you believe that mentoring is going to help you drastically and improve your odds, be part of the data science transition program. Absolutely. Done. Awesome. Chetan, 12.5 years work ex in aero stress analysis. Is it difficult for me to get into BFSI with opportunities on DSI? I'll not lie. BFSI, pharma, that's where the bulk of the fintech, that's where the bulk of data science opportunities are. If you're part of any other domain or industry, doesn't mean that you're at any other disadvantage. You are very much there, because I think you might be more quantitatively lifting things over there, and those all lessons are going to just come in very, very handy once you come in over here. I'm personally not aware what aerostress analysis is, so I won't be able to. I can make an educated guess, but I am not the right person to possibly comment whether what is the portability. But what I can definitely say is that you're working in a core sector, and it sounds like a field where you are quantitatively involved. You might be in a managerial role, but you're making techno-functional calls and decisions. So absolutely, you should be able to make this kind of a transition. Plus, you should be able to, um, you know, um, also learn and transition to this. So Raj, you can ask the question on the chat. I'll come on the chat very, very clearly. All the sessions would be instructor-led. Yes, human being. Answer is yes. FEA analysis, CAD, CAE. Okay, so I think this is probably just issuing a clarification on that, the aerostress part of it. Okay. Graduated from college this year. I've done some certification in machine learning, done an internship in data science for 2 months. Where to approach for job? So, guys, I think that cracking the job puzzle is something that we see people struggle with, and the thing is that they think that it's some sort of a magical pill that you go and hit the job market and you're going to get the job. It's an iterative process, and you just need to go through it. It's a process which is also emotionally draining. So you need a team. Um, you see, the reason why we have a base camp is because in the beginning you need someone to just help you stay on track. Then you have the whole transition sessions. Then you have the whole hackathons. Then you need the career sessions. So it's a very stage specific, journey specific thing that we have built, and you will need all of those things at different points in time, and that's how the whole thing is kind of built out for you. So where to approach for a job? There's no magic answer to it, but yeah, there is a way. There is a method to this madness. How do you go about cracking this? Currently, APM, I believe it is project manager or product manager. Uh, the role involves heavy interaction with the data science team, computer vision. What basics concepts should I learn to make the interaction with the DS team more enriching? Okay. If you are doing a lot of interaction with the CV team, computer vision team, I think your basics in image processing should be in place. Um, you should just understand what are HAR cascades, and that will just help you understand, help establish common minimum ground with them, where what they are telling you, why this is working, why this is not working. And with respect to I don't know what use case you're working over here, probably face detection, smile detection, document verification, or something of that sort. I'm sure must be the use case over here. So yeah, so I think CV. So both natural language processing and computer vision have a very strong domain component where you need to exhaust a certain amount of curriculum before you're able to converse meaningfully. Like once you start doing NLP, before even you come to the model part of it, or the data science part of it, you need to understand what is the what is named entity recognition, what are the corpuses, what are the n-grams, what is Markov chain, all those things you need to understand. So there's a significant domain overload over there. Start with basics, start with image processing, just the RGB channels, how does that whole thing work, how does compression work, how does image matching work, HAR cascades. I think those are good places to start working. Awesome, done, zero backlog. Let me come back to the questions over here. I think I'm seeing quite a few things over here, mostly payment confirmations. So thank you so much. Done. I don't see any new questions. If there are any other questions over here, please ping them once again. I might have missed over here. When will GLabs be updated with my transition program? Monday. So Aishwarya, you will have access to the new set of things on Monday. We work on alternate Saturdays. So tomorrow I think is a working Saturday. I'm not sure. I need to check. But I promise Monday. G. Anil Kumar, neural networks and NLP is part of this particular program. So, with respect to we spoke about a specific, goodie, which is for natural language processing. Natural language processing with deep learning is something that is part of it. If you're doing deep learning, it cannot happen that you're not doing neural networks. Um, that is very much part of it. That is a self-paced model that we have given to you. Here is a small trick. It's a reality. Um, you will be asked, in the interview process, you will be, doing things, showcasing stuff, depending projects, and none of them would be based on deep learning. Don't worry about it. You'll be doing something which is based on regression, classification. It's going to be classification mostly, and you'll be building a lot of elementary models and defending them really out and out. So those are the kind of things which are really happening in the interview process. Very, very necessary. So all these things are there. Um, you will most likely be using them after 6 months, not before them, because I think you'll have enough to exhaust in the first 6 months. That's a real answer, G. Anil Kumar. Done. Good. I think that's pretty much the end of the road for tonight. So, guys, stay safe. Thank you so much. If there are any more questions, very happy to take. It is 9:13. I'll wrap this session up in another 5 minutes and call it a day, call it a night rather. It's been a long day for me. So, there are 27 of us over here. How many of you have started working from offices, or are you still working from home? Office, home, office, home. If you can just quickly type out office, office. Okay. Sanjay Kumar Kannur, if you can just search for 26 weeks of data science, you will find my report itself. Please find. It's very happy. Yeah, I think I see a lot of. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any data on this, but probably a good 30-40% have resumed going to office either once a week, twice a week, maybe all the days. Don't know. I'm from non-tech background, work in FSI. Is it easy to transition to data analytics? So, yeah, Mahesh, the short answer is yes. I mean, rather than easy or not easy, it is possible. Um, I think more than the journey, I think outcome is what is really what matters. So, I think if you're able to make the transition, and even if it is hard on you, I think don't worry about it. I think the transition really matters. So, just enjoy the whole journey. Awesome, guys. Let me wrap this up in like next 2 minutes. Anyone has any question other than data science? I'm happy to answer that also. How many test matches do you think we'll win in Australia? I think let me ask questions. Jerin 1. Okay. How is life going on in lockdown? So I have started stepping out of the house. I am. I think I'll lose my sanity if I stay in house. I think test series is all पुजारा के भरोसे है भाई. पुजारा Rahane. Sanjay Kumar. A lot of openings are there in Bangalore, Mumbai, NCR. I would say these three companies, these three cities, and I would put Hyderabad, and then I would put I think Hyderabad. Hyderabad, and I think then it's pretty much same. Kolkata, Chennai, it's all spread out. For experienced people, how many rounds of interview will be prepared? So, Mahesh, what we are typically seen is that even if you're experienced professional, this happens in Fractal, by the way. Even if you're interviewing for a CXO position, you'll be asked to take a aptitude test. They start from aptitude test. Absolutely, So the evaluation is very ruthless. There is no difference because you are experienced. You have less rounds or anything of that sort. So yeah. Chetan, how much percentage is the career service result in job with respect to? Great question. So I think I showed that slide over here. There is something what we call as the transition endorsement framework. What that typically means is that we will know before you know that you're going to get a job. To be very honest, and it will be much before then. You start appearing for interviews. While you're going through the process and G Labs, you will be solving assignments. You will be going through the guided hackathons. That will tell us whether you're going to make it or not going to make it. Very honestly. So we have something called as a endorsement framework. Once we believe that the learner is endorsed, then इन द एंडोर्स लर्नर पूल हम लोग जब बोलेंगे कि ये बंदे को जॉब लगने वाला है इन द एंडोर्स लर्नर पूल आवर hit ratio with respect to the placements and everything is in excess of 90%. Typically what happens is there are a lot of people who may be misguided with respect to what they want to do, or they really don't want to do data science or something of that sort. People drop out. But for the people who do make it, I think the percentage of people who do get placed is in excess of 90%. Can we try outside of India? So I believe it is from a job opportunity perspective. Yes, skills are absolutely portable anywhere. You will need to sort out your visa issues with respect to what part of the globe you want to apply. Australia, Ireland, US. It depends on how you have access to that geography. But absolutely, I think the skills are pretty much the same. COVID situation at my place, I think I step out, I see no difference in what it was before. Janta full peace mode mein hai. People are wearing masks, people are not wearing masks. Uh, you step into the market, it's all crowded. Absolutely nothing. People think things are back as far as I'm concerned. APT is mostly on probability, right? No. APT is the typical three-section APT, which is quant, logical reasoning, verbal. That's how the APT typically starts. It's like a cat thing. Any Mensa test, IQ test based thing. We actually have a problem statement for cricket. You will be going through it at some point in time as a part of the program. If you have opted for the program, it's there as part of the transition program. No, Chetan, we don't have any plans to include SQL. When we started out really long time back, we had SQL in the part as a part of the curriculum. Then we removed it. The fact of the matter is, it is a very simple skill. There is a part of SQL which is very retail. All the joins, querying, where, all the basic phrases. So very very simple to pick up at any point in time. The real SQL that a lot of people do in organizations, with respect to stored procedures and everything. So that is something that is very specific to an organization that will pick up at different points in time. And the SQL as a database requires a very different set of skills when you're doing a lot of tuning and everything. So that is even more niche. वो बहुत ही कम companies में होता है. वो नहीं होता है. मतलब उससे आपको कोई रोकेगा नहीं. You probably are not going to be held up at any place because of that particular thing. So that's the thing. GreyAtom office is in Mumbai. Sanjay Kumar. What part of the country are you in? What part of the globe are you in? People are not wearing masks. Daman. Nice. Been to Daman once. Yeah, been to Daman. There's some Silver Beach or something, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I think there was a resort next to the beach or something like that. Awesome, guys. I think it's Silver Sands Resort. Yeah, exactly. Done. Chalo, guys. It's 10:22. It's time to call it a day. Thank you so much for all the questions, all the patience, and staying back. Let's wrap up. And good night. And yeah. I'll just I have this thing where I want people to drop out and then I kind of close the meeting. Thanks. So I'll just move out. Good night and all the best. If you have any queries, reach out to us at mayuresh.shilotri@greyatom.com. It's read by a lot of people internally. We'll be answering queries over there. Thanks. Bye.